Hello everyone, my name is Lias Spieler. I'm the developer of PKIAAS.io. It's a website that allows you to quickly and easily build and manage your public key infrastructure. I've been working on the site for about 8 months and it's got all kinds of neat features that I will demonstrate in later videos. In this video, I'm going to focus on getting started, creating a root CA, and then we're going to issue a web server certificate to an IIS server. So first step, we're going to log into the website. There's not much to see here because the site's still under development. It's very much beta. I don't recommend using it in production yet. If you click at login up here at the top right, you have the option to log in with your Google account or GitHub account. I'm going to log in with Google. And when you first get in, you don't have any root CAs created yet. And it's kind of the foundation that everything is built on. You create a root CA, the templates and the certificates are all associated or issued by that root CA. And if we try and navigate around the site, it's really just going to bring us back to this. So we'll click create a managed CA. And I'll just call this YouTube demo CA. Click create root CA. All right, so that's really all it takes to create the root CA. And I'm going to let us run into a couple hiccups here along the way so that we can see how those will be fixed. So after we make the root CA, let's just jump over to the web server and start working on creating a CSR that will sign to get a certificate from that new root CA. If we go over to server certificates, right click and say create certificate request. And I'm just going to put a bunch of gibberish in here and we'll correct that when we go to issue the certificate. So click next. Let's do at least 2048-bit length. Leave that the way it is. File name, I'll throw this on the desktop. All right, so we should have our CSR sitting there on the desktop. And for starters, the way I'm going to have this web server set up is test.testdomain.com. If we try and browse to that now, we're not going to get anything because that web server is not listening on port 443 yet. Let's get the contents of this CSR that we created. So we know we want a web server certificate. If we go to certificate templates and say manage templates, we see this web server template that's already here, and that gets created by default when you make a new CA. And so if you click on that and say submit CSR, and we paste the contents of that CSR here, submit. And so that goes into this pending request section here. And so if we click on that, we can now just say sign this as it is. But since we put all this gibberish for these attributes in here, we're going to override those requested attributes. I'm going to delete all that stuff. And then we're going to put what we're intending to use as our domain name as the common name. And we'll go ahead and put that as a DNS subject alternative name also. And we'll sign it that way. So that'll bring us down to these issued certificates. We can see that it's issued here. This is the contents of that certificate. So let's go back into IIS and see if we can say complete certificate request. File name containing the certificate authority's response. So let's download this. We'll keep it, show that in the folder. And we've got that it downloads as cert1. So file name containing the response, cert1, friendly name, put that in there, looks good. So there's our new certificate. And let's see if we can bind that certificate to this website and get that HTTPS response that wasn't working earlier. Okay, well, that looks good. Let's see what we get from here. All right, so we're getting a response, but we're getting a warning about it not being secure. And this is one of the hiccups I said I wanted us to run into so we could see how to fix it. Let's close out of that and let's go back to managing our certificate authorities. Click on the one we created. Let's say get CA certificate. We're going to download that, keep it, show it in the folder. Double click that. This is our root certificate. To avoid those warnings, we're going to need to trust this certificate. So let's click install, local machine. Let's place it in the trusted root certificate authority store. Next, finish, successful import. And so let's try and browse to our site again. Much better. And if we want to examine that certificate, we can see that it was issued by YouTube Demo CA. And there's the chain. So like I said, this site is still very beta, but it's got all kinds of neat features. Like you can create user certificates for certificate authentication. You can do time stamping. It supports simple certificate enrollment protocol. It supports revocation with CRLs and online certificate status protocol. It supports certificate renewal through SCEP or through a web-based renewal process. And it even allows you to create a certificate practice statement. So please do some tinkering and let me know what you think in the comments.